Prayer today is, Heavenly Father, with all this snow and cold coming our way in Geauga County, Holy One, warm our hearts with acts of kindness, inspire us with the beauty of your creation, and watch over those who work to keep us all safe and well. Amen.
So on January 10th, for the Commissioner's Office for the action on January 8th by the Board of County Commissioners, I approved and executed the agreement with Todd Hoffmeyer, Top Choice Home Inspections, to perform a commercial building inspection of the Chase Building in an amount not to exceed $2,374. On January 11th, I concurred with the Bainbridge Township trustees in not requesting a hearing on a liquor license being requested by Bear Run and Son LLC, doing business as Bear Run and Son, located at 17800 Chillicothe Road. On January 12th, for the Department on Aging, I accepted the retirement resignation of Sherry Davis, Information and Referral Assistant, to be effective February 29th, 24. For maintenance, I accepted the retirement resignation of Don Wilk, Maintenance Worker, to be effective February 2nd, 2024, and I granted permission to advertise for the position of full-time maintenance worker. This position will remain posted until filled. On January 16th, for the Department of Development, Community and Economic, I accepted and approved the Housing Revolving Loan Fund Program Income Report and the Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund Semi-Annual Report for the period July 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, and further authorize the electronic submission of these reports. Maintenance, I approved an unpaid medical leave of absence for Jones Staley, part-time General Communications Clerk, switchboard operator, for the period January 8th, 2024 through June 8th, 2024, for time not covered by accrued sick and vacation leave. And for the Department of Water Resources, I approved and executed the service contract agreement with Bergman Associates Incorporated to perform maintenance service on and installation of all telemetry and control systems, including meter calibration at various wastewater facilities within the department for a period of 1 year to be effective January 16th, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $5,000. And I further approved and executed the service contract agreement with Bergman Associates Incorporated to perform maintenance service and installation of all telemetry and control systems, including meter calibration of various water district facilities within the department for a period of 1 year to be effective January 16, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $10,000. I approved and executed the service contract agreement with Go Green Heating, Air Conditioning, doing business as Auburn Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning to perform the HVAC and plumbing maintenance services as needed at various water district facilities within the department for a period of 1 year to be effective January 16, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $5,000. And I approved and executed the service contract agreement with Go Green Heating, Air Conditioning, doing business as Auburn Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning to perform the HVAC and plumbing maintenance services as needed at various wastewater facilities within the department for a period of 1 year to be effective January 16, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $5,000. And then on January 11th for financials, I approved supplemental from the Commissioners to set up appropriations for aging and JFS in the Healthy Aging Grant Fund. I approved the travel from the Commissioner's Office and the Engineer's Office to attend the 2024 Ohio Public Employer Labor Relations Association meeting, and a travel request from the Engineer's Office to attend the County Engineers Association of Ohio Conference. And vouchers include $104,105 from the Commissioner's Office to Ravenwood Mental Health Center for first quarter youth center operations, and $36,720 from the Sheriff to Expert IT for the Microsoft Office 365 annual subscription user licenses.
Okay. So we have a motion for minutes November 17th, 21st, and 28th of November.
I make that motion.
Second?
Yes.
Right.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning. Well, Glenn is here. I don't know if he, for the maintenance one, so he's available in case you have any questions on number 7. So, but we can start with number 6, which is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the agreement with Cable Communications Incorporated to install interior and exterior cabling, as well as cameras, data cabinets, and an access control system for a period of 6 months effective January 18th, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $71,169.55. This is for networking and various hardware items for the Chase building in preparation for some of the county departments to move there during the courthouse construction.
I make that motion.
So I got, as far as where do we stand with that contract, because we start putting money into it before we got it, I don't feel comfortable, so I'm going to say no at this point.
Now, okay, I understand what you're saying. A lot of this stuff that we're putting in there can be used in other areas of the county as well, so, okay.
I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Don't sign that.
This one.
And then you'll have to adjust your financials.
Okay.
So for a full, I have Commissioner Ford made a motion and Ralph said no, so it died for lack of a second.
Okay, number 7 on the agenda is the Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute the service contract agreement with Geauga Mechanical Company to replace a boiler at Geauga County Next Step Building for a period of 1 year effective January 18th, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $21,800. So Next Step doesn't have heat right now, so they're operating using electric space heaters. So this was something that we kind of pushed through on a rush to try and get them a new boiler here.
Yeah, it's kind of an emergency situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
I make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Ford?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Okay, and then number 8 for financials today, it includes an appropriations transfer from the Commissioner's miscellaneous account to the probate court and public defender to pay unemployment claims that had not previously been budgeted for. An appropriations transfer to the sheriff for miscellaneous refunds, reimbursements, and web checks that were deposited into the general fund. Another supplemental from the general fund to place appropriations into the ADP expense accounts to absorb the archives department. All these appropriations matched the budgeted amounts that were used for archives prior to the move. Another supplemental from the general fund for the sheriff's office to replace appropriations that were granted in 2023 for vehicles and equipment that are still needed but were not able to be encumbered prior to the end of the year. And a supplemental from the sheriff's office in their 800 communications permanent improvements fund for encumbrances to replace their 800 megahertz radios. Among the cash transfers is one from the general fund to public assistance for our January through March 2024 mandated share. Transfer from the general fund to the 800 communications permanent improvements fund for additional money needed to complete the funding for their radio replacements. Among the encumbrances are travel from aging to attend the 2024 Ohio Public Employer Labor Relations Association meeting, from the Clerk of Courts to attend the February Ohio Clerk of Courts Association meeting, from Common Pleas to attend the Judicial College Court Management Program, and from JFS to attend the Ohio Council on Welfare Fraud Annual Training Conference. And there's a then and now from the Commissioner's Office to Carly Lori Snavely for appointed council fees from 2021 that were not previously encumbered. And among the vouchers are $29,326.50 from Aging to WellSky Synergy Human and Social Services Corp. For service and support in regards to their client engagement software package, and $75,000 from the Engineer's Office to Kalita Truck Equipment Incorporated for a Diamond 22-foot rear cradle boom mower.
Do you want to take out the CCI, the Cable Communications item
The
off
encumbrance?
here before they vote on it?
Okay. Do you have a pen?
Sure. Have you?
confidential bidding, number 6 on the agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, and then number 9 on the agenda is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board request the county auditor to distribute the balance in the Domestic Violence Fund, Fund number 2070, to Women's Safe, the local agency designated by the Commissioners to receive such monies. This allocation is to be paid pursuant to Section 3113.34 of the ORC for the 2023 year in the amount of $11,730.94.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Okay, and then number 10 on the agenda is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board approve and execute the payment processing agreement with CSG Forte Payments Incorporated to provide financial transaction devices for the county expenses owed to county officials and offices in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 301.28 for a period of 5 years, effective January 18th, 2024. This is the final agreement of the 3 that we approved, and this is the culmination of a little over a year worth of process for all 3 of those. So looking forward to the next 5 years utilizing these companies for this. So
Okay. I make a motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
okay, thank you very much.
You see that there's something? I was just expecting mine.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. My name's Jacob, I'm with the engineer's
Actually,
office.
You can't do
I
that.
know, I can't do 12. I could do 11 though.
No.
We can rescind.
We can rescind, we can do
Yes,
12.
correct.
Okay.
So, the county engineer's office is requesting the board rescind the motion from December 12th, 2023, due to the lack of full board. That read resolution number 23-205 to improve the embankment of Bunniesburg Road Bridge, structure number BR-38-3.08 in Parkman Township, and the embankment of Gem Road Bridge, structure BR-264-0.29 in Chester Township. So we have to rescind it because we need a full board in order to execute the resolution to improve
Okay.
it.
So then number 12 is being pulled because we do not have a full board again today.
Correct.
So number 12 is being pulled.
Okay.
But do we have a motion to rescind the?
I make a motion to rescind.
Thank you.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Okay.
And number 12 is tabled.
Hold, yes. Till we
All
have
right,
full
thank
board.
you.
Thank you.
Yep, have a good day.
You too.
Morning, Dan. Morning, Christian. How are you? How are you?
Good. Just here asking for approval for authorization to permit the use of county credit cards for the year.
I make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Thank you.
And that's something maybe we put it on for next year, we just overlooked that one. or-
It was missed.
Yeah.
It was missed with the rest of them. That
Okay.
was-
Thank you.
That was the only.
Thanks, Dan.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
The Department of Development, Community and Economic would like to reappoint the following members to our Fair Housing Committee for a 2-year term, starting January 18th, 24 through December 31st, 25. That includes Lisa Briggs, Sarah Clemson, Dawn Farrell, and Nancy Lyra.
I make a motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
All right, and we would also like to request the board approve and authorize the president of the board to sign our ocean user agreement contract. It is how we track and report for CDBG.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner DeWort?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Two different pages.
Okay.
Up to you.
I'm like, are they leaving yet?
Great.
Yeah, no, are you guys? No, it's okay. It comes up fast. These guys move. Good morning, guys. Well, this is really an exciting start for us. I mean, Vicki and I'm sure Ian as well. Do you guys know Ian? Introduce yourself.
I met you once or twice.
Yeah, a couple times. He helps run the current Jogga Youth Center. Very important impact with, daily working with the kids that are at the youth center. But as you guys are aware, and as well as Tim, we've been trying to move towards, looking at whether do we want to improve the current youth center, or do we want to build a new youth center and then maybe repurpose the current, building for something else. It's been a long time coming with the state and getting additional grant funding, which is now accumulated to $1 million that the state is willing to also put towards this project. And it's exciting to get to this point where we're actually like to go out and get qualifications, from design firms to see, what this will be. So we're just starting the process. We're asking the board approval to advertise for that and get this process started, so we can actually hopefully get digging soon. So, but I just wanted Vicki and Ian to come to, because this is really big.
Yeah, it's needed. It's been needed for a long time.
Glenn's helped out trying to, keep the building up and running. We haven't been able to operate at full, or they have not been able to operate at full capacity for quite some time, which then causes us, JFS, to look to send kids that are in need of placement outside of the county, sometimes well outside of the county. And this new building will enable us to more than double really the current capacity and keep kids in the community where they can have closer contacts to their family, to their friends, while they need to be in residential treatment. So again, very excited to be here, very appreciative of the support of the board.
And then this will also include the respite
Yes.
availability too. So.
Yeah, the way we designed it, I guess, is I believe it's 2 wings, which can swing, but 2 wings, because currently right now, sometimes the kids have to even double up in rooms, which when you put 2 kids that have mental health issues or other things, domestic violence, in a room together, it can create issues. Here we can have individualized rooms. I think both wings are 7 each, and then I think there were 2.
There's 2 respite beds that are separate somewhat in different wings.
So we can control the flow and the mix of the kids. Yeah. Anything you want to say?
No, that's really good.
Approximately how many square foot will this new building be?
Knew you'd ask me that. No, I didn't. It is definitely bigger than the current 6,621 square feet. Okay. And with, have a classroom. But the key, as you guys know, with the current youth center, it's multiple floors, but also there's really poor sight lines.
Right.
So whoever's trying to manage you have to have multiple staff. A new proper design for a residential treatment center will allow for staff to more easily see what the kids are up to and if they're trying to get in any kind of mischief, which the current youth center renders that difficult just with the layout. Yeah, it's a huge upgrade for the county, for the kids, for Ravenwood, who currently serves that population. It'll lessen the trauma of kids having to get removed and sent out of county. It's just outcomes will be better for reunification. It's just an all-around win-win, and then to also leverage the state to have them bring some skin into the game is great as well.
Sounds good.
Well, I've been for this project ever since I got here, so I'd like to make a motion to pass it.
Second?
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys coming.
service contracts today.
Okay.
All right, so the first one, we are requesting the board to approve and execute a service contract with B&J Teps Incorporated, doing business as Southgate Lock and Security to provide lock and key services for a period of 3 years, effective January 18th, 24, in an amount not to exceed $6,000.
I make the motion.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yep.
Commissioner Spillier?
All right, number 18, we're requesting the board approve and execute a service contract agreement with Western Reserve Lightning Rod to perform maintenance and repairs of lightning protection equipment on various buildings for a period of 3 years, effective January 18th, in an amount not to exceed $20,000.
Would that be all our buildings?
Yes,
And how many would that be?
I believe it's 5 or 6.
I make the motion.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Aye.
All right, number 19, we're requesting the board approve and execute a contract agreement with HCW Environmental Consultants to provide various professional health, safety, and environmental consulting services for the director for a period of 2 years, effective January 18th, in an amount not to exceed $20,000.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
All right, number 20, we're requesting the board approve and execute a service agreement with Burton Carpet Shop to perform installation, repairs, and replacement of carpet in various county buildings for a period of 2 years, effective January 18th, in an amount not to exceed $65,000.
So moved.
So on that, you would actually, if you had that come up, you're gonna get like a quote for, specifically for that room if you had an issue.
Correct.
And then you would, as far as that goes, it's not just something that they just come in and say 10,000 and you go for it. You could actually do something where you'll be able to review a couple of other bids too.
Yes.
If it's in that situation. So it's not just that that's a guarantee, that's gonna, okay.
Right.
As long as we're good with that, I'll second that.
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Right.
And then the last one, we're requesting the board approve and execute the service agreement with E-Technologies to provide inspections and maintenance on Geauga County UPS units for a period from February 14th, 2024 through February 14th, 2025, in an amount not to exceed $15,000.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Are you doing like, are you Glenn's assistant?
So I'm the contract coordinator. I'm basically handling all of the contracts as of right now. It used to be me and Lauren. She was doing service contracts. I was doing projects and things like that. But since she resigned, I kind of just took the ball and ran with it for now.
Okay.
So I'm doing all of it.
What-
So,
In first part of December, I mentioned to Jerry about if there's a new protocol when maintenance goes in for routine maintenance for any department, because we had a situation on a roof where the fumes come in and there was an employee that was pregnant. She had to leave right away.
yes.
And I just wondered, is there a new protocol when maintenance does go into a department?
I heard Glenn talking about it, but as of right now, I don't have anything, written down. I'll check with him, and if not, that's something that I can get going.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to have something in writing in about 30 days or less. That'd be great.
Sure, I can make that happen.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Have a good
Good
day.
day. You too, Neil. And water resources.
Morning.
Good morning, Nick.
Item 22 is a service contract with 5-Star Fire Protection Services to perform all inspections, recharging, hydrostatic pressure testing, and repair, including emergency and exit lighting for a period of 1 year for our facilities.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Item 23 is another service contract with MAC Industries Incorporated to perform repair services as needed at various locations for the department effective January 18th in an amount not to exceed $20,000.
Now, would that MAC Industries be from Thompson?
Be at Thompson, it would cover all of the actual physical location. What MAC, I don't know which one that is. I can't tell you off the top of my head.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner DeWark?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good morning. My name is Jeannie Scheer. I'm the Vice President of State Government Affairs for Windstream Communications. And with me today is Dick Marting, and he is our Director of Operations here in Ohio. We very much appreciate the time on your agenda today. Windstream is a major communications provider here in Geauga County, and you do have maps in front of you that show what our service footprint is. We serve primarily rural communities across 18 states, including here in Geauga County. Ensuring that every home and business has access to high-speed internet service is a key policy objective at all levels of government, from federal government down to even townships. You're making sure that everybody is connected. It's also a top policy. It's also a top priority for us at Windstream. The list of benefits for broadband, I think, everybody could add to the list. It's quite substantial. It's everything from property taxes going up, your kids graduate from college and they decide to stay home rather than move out of the state, economic development, working from home, telehealth, education. Again, the list goes on and on. At Windstream, we certainly understand, the influx of digital use, and that's why, as a communications provider, we feel that we've really stepped up. And I think what's key is our service in rural markets, because that's where you're seeing less, upgrades and less connectivity. So we're here today to provide an update of what we are doing in your county. I believe the information that we're going to provide demonstrates our commitment that we have already to date invested. I mentioned that our service footprint is rural, and I'm sure you can find many spots on that map where our coverage is in a rural market that you're familiar with. Our footprint in Geauga County covers, our network passes about 33,000 locations, so homes and businesses here in the county. And we have 100 years of experience. We've been here 100 years, our predecessors, starting as the incumbent local exchange carrier, providing phone service, and then upgrading to, obviously, as communications transforms, to provide internet access. Being the incumbent local exchange carrier, your original phone provider, we're different than the other internet service providers that you have in Geauga County. Our network is spanning across that entire footprint. So we're not here and there and spattered throughout. Where you see our service footprint, our network is there. We own poles. Where we don't own poles, we have agreements to attach to those poles. We have a physical presence in every community. And we have employees, that about 30 of them, that are supporting this area, some living and raising their families here in Geauga County and have the rural experience to serve our markets. And another difference that you don't see with many communications providers, and as we prepare for more future builds, is we stood up another construction team. We used to have a construction team in-house in the past. We brought construction back in-house, and we now have construction yards here in Chardon. We have a couple yards in Chardon. So we're gearing up to serve the big purpose of getting everybody connected. Serving rural areas obviously brings challenges, costs, swamp, any consideration of an upgrade or build out. And so, it's a challenging market, but we have a leadership team that is extremely committed, and, we're serving the dense areas, of course, because that's where our central office is, but we're going beyond the dense areas where the houses are fewer and far in between. The most striking evidence that you're going to see of our commitment is going to be in the number of fiber miles, and that's demonstrated on the second map. We have over 730 miles of fiber already deployed in this county alone, and that number is growing. So we serve more locations with fiber service than any other internet service provider here in Geauga County, and that's based on some public data that I pulled that just came out from June of this year. Our strategic initiatives over the years started pre-pandemic, so we've been doing this for a long time. The pandemic obviously made it apparent that higher speed internet access was needed, but we were starting our fiber build outs long before that. As a result, we are in a key position to really be a part of the solution whenever the federal government, your state, and county, I'm sure it's a priority for you as well, to close the digital divide. So that's closing the gap between the haves and the have-nots. So referencing to your map, over 12,000 locations fall within the areas that you're seeing on your map with the white slash marks. So those are gigabit service areas. Those are fiber served areas. That means symmetrical service. It means the best technology in fiber. It's reliable. And uploads and download speeds, which is important, is symmetrical. So you're getting 1,000 megabits by 1,000 megabits. And that's what you want. It's going to serve your constituents now and long into the future. The other areas on the map that are in the black, have the black slash marks, those are active projects. So as you can see, we are continuing to build, and it's project by project. So we're building off of what we're already doing, and then the orangish, goldish area, you know, a future commitment. So we participated in the Rural Digital Opportunities Fund program. That's a federal program, and so that has us taking service to that program supported the most remote areas. Those were areas where nobody had access to 25 megabits that were eligible under that program. So we took that commitment and we'll be building fiber to those locations as well. So when you look at the active fiber projects, that's another 4,200 locations that we plan to turn up this year. So as I said, our footprint continues to grow. I have to mention partnerships because serving rural markets, you know, there are some areas that it's just not economically feasible to get there, so partnerships are key. The Rural Digital Opportunities Program is one program that we would consider a partnership, as well as the state has a program, it's called Orbig, and we participated in round 1. So that's just helping us get our fiber out there quicker, and areas that might not have received fiber from us for a long time. Because we've already invested in fiber, getting to the more rural parts of your county are possible economically because we can make a business case where other providers might be coming from the center of town and have 5 miles of fiber to run where we might only have 1. So you're getting the best technology that might otherwise have been destined for less reliable service, whether it be fixed wireless, satellite, you know, not with the fiber technology, but I think because of our builds, we're making more fiber in Geauga County possible. So the information that I shared is a snapshot of today. We do expect new projects that we're going to want to bring before you. There's a new program through the Coronavirus Relief, actually Infrastructure Jobs Act. There's so many acronyms, and so I'm not going to have that name right. But there's a program where Ohio is getting $793 million to support infrastructure upgrades. So we plan to fully participate in that program here in Geauga County as well. And so in the future, we will have projects, once they finalize those details, to bring before you. And, you know, it's a very competitive process. $793 million sounds like a lot, but it's not going to cover everything. And they do want to get fiber out to as many as possible. And then what's left would be served with, you know, fixed wireless or satellite, other technologies like that. So for our applications in that program to be fully funded, get all the scoring points that we can, you know, the element is local coordination. So not only do I want to bring a project to you and have you, you know, we'll be asking for a resolution of support, gets us more points, so our application will be more favorably scored. We'd also like your local input. You know, when you've had time to look at our map and, you know, digest it, have questions, you know, we're happy to answer them. If you have an industrial park that's planned for a certain part of the county and you don't see our fiber, you know, we have projects going on all the time. Maybe it's just moving one project next year and, you know, pulling another project in. With local input from you, we can do that. We'll also be coordinating with municipalities. Every impacted municipality we'll be reaching out to, presenting our plan and asking for their, you know, them for their support as well. So that's it. That's where we're at. If you aren't familiar with Windstream, I hope you have a better picture of who we are now. And we are happy to answer any questions that you have.
Do you have an active partnership with Southern Link?
We do not.
Are they still in the southeast corner of Geauga County?
I believe so. I'm not
former township trustee in Berkman, we've always had, probably once a year, we've had 10 or 15 people come out. Suddenly, it was very poor service, and they're, we were hoping that someone would buy them out and get some real service down there.
Well, in the way that these programs work, the next upcoming program, it would be anybody that doesn't have service of 100 megabits. And again, we're talking about fiber. What we're deploying is 1,000 megabits, so obviously better than 100. That those are the areas that would be considered eligible. And so there's a plan for somebody to come in and offer that area if they're not getting a minimum of 100 megabit service.
Okay. Now, from Mayfield Road south on 44, do you have like a transmission line for our safety forces and UH hospital and things like that? Like a main line?
I can check on that. Can you
Yeah,
say that route again?
From Mayfield Road on 44 south, because it's heading this way, and we have our safety forces there and the hospital. And if something terrible would happen, a negative situation on 44, my next thought process is, why don't you have a transmission line from Mayfield Road on Acola Road, which it's less dense, and we could still have power,
Redundant.
internet, and everything else,
Yeah.
if something would happen on Route 44.
Right.
Is that Fuller Road, you said?
Ravenna Road or Route 44.
Ravenna.
And then if they would come down and futuristic, come down Acola Road to this campus, this campus of service for the residents.
Oh, verify.
I wanted to mention one more thing. The areas on the map that don't have, the white marks or the active black slash marks, we do provide services across the whole county in that footprint, so phone and internet service. So the speeds for that, we also, before we started deploying fiber, we overbuilt ourselves with that. We were offering DSL technology. And DSL is basically, you are using some of our copper plant at the end to get to the customers. But several years ago, we pushed fiber out deeper into our network and then, limited the amount of copper that we're using to the customer's home. So, with that DSL technology, we are offering 100 megabits, 200 megabit service, depending on how close you are to the fiber. So I just didn't want you to be under the impression that the areas that you're looking at are the only internet service that we provide.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any more
Thank you.
questions? Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Number 25 is the statutory group. And I said the person
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you? How was vacation? Too quick.
You got this big giant bright thing in the sky that keeps it warm during the day.
What do they call that again?
The sun.
Yes, but they have sand, not snow. All right, so that's the semi, moving into the statutory groups.
We have 5 members here, so we do have a quorum for this to move forward. This is for statutory group, the 153.36 meeting that's required for courthouse project. The plans and the letter in front of you, everything was sent. I did not print off individual sets of specs because it was just one set for the office, was 2 binders. You wanted to carry 2 binders back with you. But I do have it here if anybody wanted to look at them a little more. The one thing that was noticed is in the GMP, the estimate that was sent over, the numbers were not, there was a math error in there, so the GMP total is 18,698,437, not the 18,664,774 that was in over 17. Anybody have any questions or comments about the plans or the specs that were sent over?
Looks good to me.
So this is an addendum, so something's changed?
Well, not much has changed since the last one. It was just an addendum because it was some changes to things. There was a couple changes to, based on our final, what's it called? Our final meeting that we had with regards to some of the quality assurances and quality products. So the tile, the floor tile that was asked, that was something that changed from the previous drawing. So based on your comments, it's just, some of those things were changed. It wasn't not anything physically about the space per se. The spaces are all the same size. The offices, everything where they were in the original drawings.
So are we gonna have to do this every time there's a change order?
No, this is the last 153.36 meeting we have to have. Those are all, in the Ohio Revised Code, those are all prior to construction starting.
What do you guys on those?
No changes.
Okay.
Well, he's always in hot pursuit, so the guy's on the run.
So if there's no questions or comments, call the vote. And then you do have the letter in front of you, especially for Judge Andre, since it's the first meeting he's been at. Just whatever your vote is, there's a third page that you're signing off on.
So for clarification, obviously Commissioner London is not here, and probate court.
Probate court has refused to be part of this process. They're not in the courthouse.
And then this includes your plans, drawings, representations, photo materials, specifications of work and estimates with cost bearing in detail and in the aggregate relating to GMP Amendment Number 1 and GMP Amendment Number 2 for the contract with Infinity Construction Incorporated. And you mentioned the changes that Gene put regarding the amounts. So if we were all okay with that, sure. Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spitaler?
Aye.
Sheriff Hildebrand?
Yes.
Judge Andre?
Yes.
And Ms. Buffington?
Yes.
Okay.
So we just have to sign it?
Yeah, if you can sign, check mark where next to your vote and sign. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks to y'all for putting up with this whole fun of having these meetings. And these ours. Yes.
Oh, yeah. So move us back into regular session at 10:18. Out of the state. We're not going to fit in there. There should be.
Item number 26 deals with this building. It's a change order for the original GMP Phase 1 and Phase 2 for this building, the Dominguez Independence, for some additional access key cards and that we needed to add into the building for security purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spitaler?
Right. And then item number 27 deals with Karen Fugger, who we had the executive session about a couple weeks ago. This is just requesting to have her removed, to remove her from unpaid leave effective February 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
The Department of Aging.
Second.
Commissioner DeVore?
Yes.
Commissioner Spitaler?
Aye.
Good morning. All right, number 28, as Jerry mentioned earlier in his report, we did get a retirement notice for one of our employees who operates our phones. So we'd like to move forward and post for that position. Her retirement date's February 29th, but with the hiring market, you never know how quickly you can fill a position, and it's an integral position on the phone. So we'd like to go ahead and post that information and referral assistant position. And to go along with the posting of positions, if it's okay if I do these together, as
Sure.
we're taking Ms. Fugger off of leave on February 2nd, I made a few modifications to the job description, no changes in the wage or title, just a couple of the duties and to update. And I would like to advertise that job internally starting on the 5th of February. If we have no qualified internal candidates, we'd like to, put that out to the community and extend that externally.
I make a motion on 28, 29.
Sorry, that change in the job description would be effective February 2nd, not
yes.
January 8th, this is on the agenda.
Oh.
Let's see, that would be when we're taking Ms. Weaver off of unpaid leave. Technically, she's still under that position.
Yes.
If we don't do it February 2nd, then we have to get her sign off on changing the job position and such.
Okay.
Did you know?
Second?
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica.
And then the next item is a engagement letter agreement with Myers, Roman, Freeburg, and Lewis for outside counsel. We're permitted to do so in cases where we need to not utilize someone other than the prosecutor's office. So this is the same counsel we've used for the last 2 years.
Make a motion.
Second?
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner
Aye.
Claypool? I have one addition. And that is, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Prosecutor's Office to review a contract with Waleski Transfer Incorporated for moving services related to the relocation of the basement offices in connection with the courthouse expansion project. This is just requesting the prosecutor to review the contract.
I make the motion.
Second?
Commissioner DeWart?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye. Okay. Anything else?
I just have a couple of items I wanted to review before. Email out earlier, late last week, regarding a couple of these things. We received a request from the Cuyahoga County Port Authority, who did bonds for the Laurel School. Most of the money that came out of those bonds for Laurel School is in their campus here in Geauga County. They are looking to refinance those bonds. The original bonds were from 2008, so they're looking to do a refinance on those bonds. With that, there's a requirement that the commissioners pass a resolution to allow them to do that. And then there's a joint meeting, which, based on the attorneys say, nobody from the county has to be there, but I would go just to be present there to make sure that nothing crazy gets done. But I just wanted to see if there's any objection to doing that, or should I have them send over, before they prepare all their paperwork, and send it over for the commissioners to approve them, to allow them to refinance. It's because it's an out-of-county port authority who's doing bonds within the county, so we should have to sign off on that.
So give me what would be a negative?
There really, to my understanding, there really is no negative. There's no obligation for the county as far as any of those funds. There's no repayment. Everything falls to Laurel School. It's just a matter of, and again, it was done, the original ones were done in 2008. So it's tax-free bonds is what it is. That's why with the port authorities involved, it's tax-free bonds. There's really no, based on talking to, we're hearing from Katie Romanchek with Squires, who's our bond counsel. There's really no detriment to the county to approve those, to accept that.
I'm okay with it.
Do we have a motion?
We don't need a motion. I just want to make sure before they do a bunch of work and we put it before the board. I don't want to.
Right. Okay.
And then the other one is a similar situation. This is with Portage County Port Authority. The Hartville Hardware, the company that owns the property that was annexed into, approval for the annex into Middlefield Village, they are looking to do the same thing with the tax-free bonds for them to build their new facility there and bring the jobs into Geauga County. So again, just make sure there's no.
In that situation, it's basically going to build, bring in jobs and also bring in revenue.
Right.
And there's any negatives impacts that you see with that?
I don't know, again, same thing, it's not, there's no financial burden on the county for it, that the county's not responsible for any payments that don't get made, that all stays with them. That's all, that'll all be outlined in the resolutions.
And we'd still be in a situation of sales tax?
Yeah, it would be, well, yeah, I think that's the benefit. I haven't had a long-term discussion with this guy, I didn't want to spend a bunch of time talking to him if you guys weren't somewhat in favor of it. But yeah, I think this deals with the sales tax deal, and like I said, where they would get the benefit of not having sales tax, similar to the apartment complex that was here presenting for Jug Lake about a month ago or 2 months ago. It's kind of I think it's kind of a similar deal, where the county, there would be a certain dollar amount that the county would get to as an estimate of offset of what the loss in sales tax would be.
Okay.
I think we need a little more research on that.
Okay, I will do that and get the, yeah, I was not asking, I was not expecting a final decision, I just direction to keep moving forward or.
Details.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
All right.
Village Meadowville, same Hartville. Their solicitor reached out to me, they want to have a meeting to talk about CRA as well for Hartville. So there's additional things that.
And isn't it the land that's going to be annexed into Meadowville Village?
Yes, that's the land that the annexation was approved a couple weeks ago.
They're in the process of final.
Okay, so it came through this
It was
board?
an expedited.
It was, yeah, it came through the commissioners, but really, the way I understand it, and the way the law is, the commissioners didn't have a choice but to say yes, because they had everybody signed off on it, so it was an expedited. So basically, this was coming to the commissioners was just this has to be done to meet the statute.
And that was done during a meeting?
Yes.
Yes. The gentleman from Sherpa Development from Hartville was actually present that day. But it was done as an expedited type one, which meant that the village, the township, and the development all agreed to the terms before it was brought before the board. And due to the section of the ORC regarding an expedited, it just has to be presented, it has to be acknowledged on your next meeting right after it was received, and then you have to do a resolution to approve the grant the annexation. From there, it goes back to the village to finalize the process.
Okay.
Okay, any questions?
Diane Jones, Auburn Township. I believe we had a discussion like this. I think you guys signed the original approval, I believe it was in July, and it involved a port authority that was registered in Columbus, and it involved, Geauga Lake. Okay, so how does this situation, you indicated it's similar to Geauga Lake, okay, once that Geauga Lake situation would have been approved, when I read the paperwork, it sounded as though if the Port Authority raised or put something on the ballot, okay, there would be a responsibility. And as it came back, you guys did an addendum, etc. And some of us are a little bit spooky about port authorities coming in and representing out-of-county situation. And I still, this is off the subject, but it touches base. We're still not hearing everything here as clearly as we should. And we're talking about a lot of money here. So I think we need a bigger explanation and a lot more research before anybody commits to anything in the name of Geauga County taxpayers. Thank you.
That's exactly what the commissioners asked me to do, is to gather more information.
Okay, well that was not audible.
They were not voting to approve anything. It was just getting direction from
But
them.
if they come back, if representatives come back the next week, after a week's research, as they did in the past, and there was an attorney, and yada yada, the whole bit. And so I think it would be helpful if what you are communicating among yourselves gets communicated out here, so there is no confusion. Speak up, or expect people to have questions and concerns, particularly in these difficult monetary times. And I'll leave it at that.
Gail Lucy, League of Women Voters. I could not understand Mrs. Blair when she talked about something related to the courthouse expansion project, transit. Will it transit? Was I hearing?
Are you talking about the transfer?
I couldn't
the
tell what
request
you
from the
said.
prosecutors. It's a request from the prosecutor's office to review a contract.
And what was the contract for?
Waleski.
Waleski?
Waleski, yeah. It's WELESKI transfer. It's a moving company.
Okay, gotcha. And then following up also on the question regarding this Hartville tax-free bond, is this similar to the one that was turned down for Jennings? Similar kind of thing?
I don't think so, because I think that was more of a situation that we supported that project once for the beginning of it, and then it basically came back, for another second round. So it was just a position I think that the board took to, support these situations of getting these businesses in, and up and running, and giving them some support to try to get them, off their feet. And especially in this situation there in Hartville, it's going to be a situation where they're creating jobs, creating, a tax base also for our county, and giving them that opportunity. And I don't have all the details, so I can't, tell you exactly.
Okay, so
what,
one is brand new and one was a prior.
Yeah.
I see.
Yep.
Okay.
The Jennings one was for them to come in and purchase an existing nursing home facility.
Yeah, it wasn't anything to do with construction.
Okay, no new construction.
Right.
Okay. And then my last thing has to do with the youth center, which is awesome. You mentioned $1 million in grants or aid from different sources.
Oh, that was from the state.
Okay, from the state.
Right.
And then the commissioners will be paying the balance of that?
Well, it would be, JFS, which is a levied, is a levied organization in the county. So,
okay.
And then they have basically been, very responsible of accumulating funds to be able to move forward on this. This isn't something that just happened this morning.
Oh, no, I know.
This is something for the last 12 years that I've been here that we've been talking about this and know that there's a need.
Yeah.
And they've basically been budgeting to do this and have the availability of dollars to move forward to do it. So it's just a matter of we need to do it. The conditions there are not good, the building's not good, and we need to get that done.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Anyone else? 2 questions today, Diane?
Yeah, I believe it was number 9, okay, had to do with funds being transferred, being distributed by the auditor.
Yeah, that's under the Ohio Revised Code. They're transferred to Women's Safe under the domestic violence.
Okay, but that is...
Funds are collected.
Okay, but it is for the 2023 tax year. And, okay.
It gets done at the beginning of the year based on what the amount is that's collected. So then the action is taken. So for 23, it's taken in January of 2024. So like in 23, we did 2022.
Okay, just clarifying to make sure it wasn't a typo of sorts.
Nope.
I know that's pretty unusual for you,
Well,
but,
it's
just...
the timing of the year. The domestic
Okay.
violence thing is good. It's an annual thing that's done in January.
Great.
The funds
And,
come from fees that are collected during the year. So we don't know how
Okay.
many fees have been collected until we get to the year.
okay, appreciate that clarification, especially when it's audible and everybody can understand it. So thank you for your efforts.
Anything else?
you had asked me at the beginning of the meeting if you needed to sign in to make a comment, and I said you didn't need to sign in. I don't know if this would be...
Yes, I would like to make a statement.
Yes.
How you doing, sir? And we can talk to you too after that, the end of this.
Oh, that's right. He says he's been here 12 years, and this is 12 years of fact-finding.
Hi, my name is Dan Devokie, and, well, I'm here to, I guess, complain. First time I've complained, first time I've been here in front of anyone. My complaint is about Hampden Township and Clarendon Township. Their zoning inspectors have lied to me and to the Planning Commission. The trailer park seems to be a problem, Leaders Trailer Park. They stated with the state of Ohio they were working on 100 acres, and they were approved for, don't quote me, but around 288 trailers. They were only on 16 acres. Big difference.
Wait a minute, so Deckham, so you said they have 100 acres?
No, sir. They stated to the state of Ohio that they were working on a 100-acre parcel.
Okay.
They were only on 16 acres.
That's what they currently have?
Currently, they're up to about 43 acres.
Okay.
They have expanded their footprint 7 times.
Okay.
The township, over the last 50 years, has been, we have no zoning control over the trailer parks. They've actually written into their zoning text, and they named the property specifically, the Lakeman property.
Okay.
And they've, well, put forth a bunch of zoning requirements on them. They haven't followed any of them. In fact, they purposely removed the buffer zone between our properties. The fencing, anything. The amount of 103 tires I've had to move out of there. The amount of trespass that I have. I am right next, I bought the property next to them.
Okay.
And when I went to put in my driveway, the owner calls me up and says, I have a 50-foot buffer on your property. Says, no, if you read the zoning text, it says on the manufactured home parks property.
Okay.
Well, they got that eliminated. There's other zoning, so when I went to the zoning inspectors, they kept saying zoning doesn't apply.
You're saying they got it eliminated, they eliminated it through the
And so the judge, we ended up taking it to the, we had to file a writ of mandamus to get them to do everything, anything and everything. And so finally, the judge agreed that zoning does apply. They could either enforce the zoning or get a variance.
Okay.
They didn't get a variance, they just got rid of that zoning text, literally just crossed it out. Well, there's about 5 other violations there, but why bother going to the zoning inspector that has A, lied to me, has lied to the planning commission, has kind of lied to the trustees as well. I have plenty of the documentation. I would like to get a meeting with somebody and
And the
actually
zoning
go.
inspector is from Clarendon or from?
And so the zoning inspector from Hampden is RJ Aquaviva.
Okay.
Okay, the zoning inspector from Clarendon, I forgot his name because this has probably been about 6 years ago. I had to pick and choose which one I'm going to argue with.
Okay.
Because the Leaders Mobile Home stated to the township trustees that they can keep the whole operation in Hampden Township. Well, you can look on your GIS and you can see they have trailers over in Clarendon Township, and the whole wastewater treatment plant is in Clarendon Township. And so our health department, so the state of Ohio says that our health department is supposed to inspect the 8 mobile home districts in Geauga County. But then the attorney for the state of Ohio stated that our health department opted out of inspecting the 8 mobile home parks in Geauga County.
And why would that?
That's a very good question. So I buy houses, build, fix them up, and have to abide by rules, regulations, zoning. Have to go through the health department and stuff for septics. In fact, in the middle of COVID, Dave, I forget his name, Sage, he told me when I was in the middle of one of my rehabs that they abandoned the septic program after they took my money. Yeah,
Did you get refunded?
No, I ended up having to send my attorney in, and then they finally gave me my permit. And so I'm like, after
Without an inspection?
Pardon?
You got the permit without the inspection then?
No, it was for the inspection. I already paid for that. Then it was another permit price. Let's not go down that road. I'm just kind of, every turn in my discovery with the county, I've been met with wrong information and lies. Not sure why. They removed they're supposed to have a recreational area in the trailer parks. In 2012, they removed the recreational area and, well, filled it all up, they didn't follow their engineered SWIP plan. In fact, they took all the water from the upper half of the trailer park and dumped it through a 12-inch pipe right onto my property, flooding out my property.
Did you contact Soil and Water?
Yes, I did, and Bob Griesmer, I think his name was.
Yeah.
And so he comes out and he gives me a piece of paper, says, you're allowed to divert all, well, he says, they're allowed to flood out my property. He said, the paper he gave me from the state of Ohio says you're allowed to flood out your neighbors, you're allowed to improve your property to the detriment of your neighbors. There's so much wrong with it, with the engineering. In fact, they didn't follow their SWIP plans from the engineering department to take the stormwater out. In fact, they dumped it onto my property and put trailers over the pipe. The planning commission asked the zoning inspector if they placed any new trailers, and he says no. They've not stopped placing trailers since I started a lawsuit with them 6 years ago.
And what does the permit from the state of Ohio allow them for trailers in the park?
And so according to that one, it stated that it was roughly 288 trailers when they were on the 100-acre parcel, which was actually 16. So now that they're totally up to 43 acres, their attorney, the trailer park's attorney, sent in some documentation to the judge stating that they were grandfathered. Well, we had already proved that they weren't grandfathered, and the information that they submitted to the courts stated no more than 3 trailers per acre. So if you only have 43 acres times 3, how many trailers do you think they should have? Not 400.
Right.
It's not even close.
So let me ask you, so what do you want us to, what are you here for today?
What am I here for? And so exactly, I've kind of gone through the township, I've gone through the chain of command, right?
And you've talked to our planning commission?
No, actually I didn't. They held a few meetings. They had meetings with Aquaviva, which again, he lied to them. They never did it properly, meaning getting a variance to remove this the zoning text.
So why don't we look at this? You know, right down this hall is Linda. She's our
Linda Crump.
Yeah.
She's been part of the problem as well, sir.
Okay. So I would say this is, I would tell you that on February 13th, ask to be, you know, put on the agenda, or it's a public meeting.
Yeah.
You can show up and you can bring up your concerns to the you know, to the actual planning commission. And understand something, so the planning commission is a advisory commission. They're not a matter of statutory override of the townships. The townships still can choose to adopt their own, you know, rules, regulations of how they see fit. However, what it is that, you know, there's a, you know, model zoning plan, and everything that we basically recommend, townships many times will then send, you know, the package to us at the planning commission, and then we'll basically look at everything and then basically refer and recommend based off of that. So what happens in the planning commission is not final, but they can put a set of eyes, and the planning commission is made up of a multitude of residents of the county, not elected officials, that, you know, is specifically based on making good common sense decisions sometimes that are not politically driven. So I would tell you that that would probably be a good start given your situation. February 13th, and I believe it's going to be at 7:30 in the morning. If you go to that, and I would just basically ask if either you can be placed on the agenda to talk about it, or just go there as a, you know, as a public, you know, as a public member and voice your concern. And then what I will do also is that then I'll wait to hear what the outcome from that is, and let's circle back around and see what we could do to help you, because I understand. I don't know enough about this. I'm just hearing this for the first time, and I apologize. I've been here for 12 years, but it's the first time I've heard of this. So, but I would tell you, why don't we go that route first and do that, and then we basically can, let's circle back around.
The reason I'm here, I guess, is I'm looking for some sort of protection for my property and my family.
Right. And I think that they could, I think that that's the first start. Let's try to do that, And then the other thing, have you gone to some of the township meetings at Hamden and Clarendon also?
Yes, sir, I've gone, and the lies are incredible, incredible. And then the closed meetings. Back to the way they've handled every single one of their meetings, and why we had to file a writ of mandamus to get them to do anything properly.
Okay.
And so, yes, we've been to a number of their meetings.
Okay.
I guess the reason I guess I'll try to lay out a few good of the, maybe 5 or 6.
Correct. Yeah, I would just
them.
do this. I would have it, I would really just focus on some key points, and
Well, they keep saying it's going through the state, and so this was just a stop-off before I get down to Columbus and bring it up with the state, because everyone in this community seems to be turning a blind eye. I know this is the first time I've brought it up to anyone.
Right, yeah, this is...
And over the last 60 years, I've been the one managing that.
Right.
I'm getting too old to be chasing kids out of the property and off the property, and I have children, suicidal kids with guns killing themselves on the property. It's not a pretty picture. And so, I appreciate your time listening.
No, we appreciate you coming in.
And so that was what I mentioned to the chief back there, I'm sorry, the sheriff. I called him before and asked him for advice on what to do with the constant trespass and what's going on there. And he advised me to make a complaint every time.
Right.
At a certain point, when do I become the problem? When you're calling daily.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a problem, and it's an unfortunate situation, but that's about as best of an answer that can be given to you is to make a complaint on it.
Oh, I get it, and keep everybody involved and let you guys know, because it is our community, and if I don't tell you, then you don't know. But this has been going on for 60 years.
So you've been there for 60 years?
58, but my family's been here for 3 generations, and I bought the neighboring property off my uncle's estate.
And how many acres do you have there?
I have a total of about 41 acres.
Okay.
Which seems...
So let me ask you, in their plan of that 100 acres, did it include your property?
No, sir.
No.
No, they bought their property off Zima. In fact, they were only on 16 acres when they told the state that they were working on 100 acres.
Okay.
And so they Aquaviva keeps saying that the state has exclusivity of the mobile home parks.
They do, and there's also...
With the interior of the parks, I spoke with Mo Nussbaum, who was the attorney for the state of Ohio, and she says, we control the inside, but the township still controls the property, and it's the footprint. It's in it's in the township, and so they still have that control. And same with that's why I'm here, because the county, well, it's in our county, and the next step is the state, because it's in our state too.
Sure.
And so yes, I will go to Linda Crombie again, and I will mention this again. But I already saw what they did at their last zoning commission hearing, where they essentially did this without due process. They didn't notify us. That's what they have to do accordingly in a variance. But by not following the judge's order of not getting a variance, of just literally crossing out the zoning text to avoid a lawsuit, there's 4 more problems there that I can file the lawsuit tomorrow on. But I've already demonstrated that nobody will watch, listen, or look. So I will be more than happy to go to that meeting and bring it up with them and see what we can continue.
All right. Well, we appreciate that.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, sir.
Keep in mind that the Planning Commission is an advisory board.
I understand.
Not a legislative body. And even if the townships have an idea to change the zoning or tweak it or whatever, they present it to the Planning Commission. And we go over it, and we, based on our model zoning, and make corrections. And even when we give them modifications and adjustments that we recommend them to do, they don't have to do it.
I understand that, but maybe they need to get the actual facts involved versus the lies that they've been dealing
And I
with.
think that it could help you if the planning commission looked at it and had a recommendation and then transferred it to the township, and then they didn't choose to follow that, I think that's only strength on your part, correct? So I think that let's
Due to
let's
this
do this.
corruption, there's no strengthening my end.
I understand, and it's frustrating, and I could understand that, because I wouldn't want that, if it was my property, and I sympathize with you 100%, and I think let's start
I'm just
from
looking
there.
for some of that protection that they
Yeah.
say we're zoned for. So,
Yeah.
well, again, thank you for your time.
Appreciate you coming in, thank you. All right, anything else?
Mr. DeVoe.